The Democrats' attempts to link Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein keep backfiring, right? And that's what you see being discussed over here with Scott Jennings on CNN. But I have to point something out first, okay? We already saw the Democrats release new files that weren't really new, where they redacted names that were already known, just in a way to kind of incriminate Donald Trump in some fashion, okay? But guess what? They've done it again. And you're going to see Kaitlan Collins actually mention this over on CNN.com. Yes, new photos released by the Democrats where they have faces blacked out aren't actually new either, because it was shown that, hey, guess what? That photo is from over 10 years ago, and they're actually all models for Hawaiian Tropic. So another attempt to smear Donald Trump goes down in flames as the truth gets revealed. So let's go ahead and jump into these clips. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
And here to weigh in as well, Van Jones and Scott Jennings. And Van, I mean, I just think when you hear that from Congressman Garcia saying that there's some really disturbing images in this. I mean, their staff has to go through this basically in a raw file and look through that and put stuff out. I mean, it's created a stir. The Republicans are saying they're just cherry picking, but I mean, I do think it's just disturbing to even see a lot of these pictures.
Well, I think there are two things that are going on here. One is, everybody that's seen this stuff says there's really terrible images here. They're saying that on air, they're saying that off air, terrible images. And so I think that, to me, they should be a little bit more patient. I do think they open themselves up by putting some out now, some out later. I don't understand the rationale. If it's this serious, I think Democrats would be well advised. If it's worse than people thought, dribbling out little party pictures and doing guilt by association games, I think undermines the seriousness and the gravity of what we're talking about now.
Well, and Scott, I mean, that was the concern that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene basically alluded to when she was asked about the president fighting her on signing that Epstein discharge petition. She told him she was worried people would get hurt. Obviously, one thing that Republicans have argued is that people could be unfairly smeared by being included in this. I mean, you saw Richard Branson, a lot of people who were included in these photos today that have not been accused of wrongdoing. That is incredibly important to note, even for a second time. But Scott, I wonder what you make of the argument that it's being cherry picked. I mean, the DOJ could release this theoretically tomorrow.
Yeah, look, here's what I think. Robert Garcia and the Democrats on oversight don't care about justice. They don't care about victims. They don't care about anything except one thing. They care about making the American public think that Donald Trump had something to do with this. What Van said is incredibly accurate. They should be patient. If they cared about victims and they cared about a narrative of justice and they cared about that part of it, they would be patient and they would be measured. But what did they do today? They release photos that are cherry picked, by the way, and they throw in an already publicly released photo of Donald Trump. They blur out the pictures of the women to make you think that these women were underage victims, when in fact, they were very adult. They were at an event. It's already a publicly released photo. And one of the women said on the record, oh, Donald Trump was gentlemanly. So what the Democrats are doing here is they're taking a very serious story in which real people got hurt by powerful people, all for the purpose of trying to smear Donald Trump. That's what this has always been about. They didn't care about it until now. And what they're doing with these photos is nothing short of outrageous. This is not a story about Trump and Epstein. It's a story about Epstein, but they want it to be about Trump. And I'm just, honestly, it is crazy. When you put out photos and digitally alter and react to people's faces, you know what you're doing, and it's not right.
Go ahead, Van.
Look, I didn't like a lot of what I saw today, mainly because I think when you're saying you have horrible images and you're putting out images that frankly are pretty frivolous images, I think it steps on the message. But I do think it's important to point out all of this could go away tomorrow if Donald Trump just said release all of it.
Scott, can I ask you, because when I looked through the pictures today, CNN, you can look through them yourselves on CNN.com. They're published there. It's not just that one picture that you're referencing where there's 3 women on each side of the president. There's others where they blurred women's faces as well, where Trump's not in the picture. I mean, I just think it made me think back to the DOJ memo from July when they were saying they weren't going to release anything else. It started all this. And the Justice Department said the images that they had showed videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minor. I mean, it's obviously hard for them to really discern at times in these old pictures how old the women or the girls are. right?
Okay, so if it's hard to discern that, then why are you releasing it? A. B, as Van just said, many of these pictures are frivolous, publicly available pictures or pictures that were taken in public spaces that clearly have nothing to do with the victims or what happened to them or the people who perpetrated crimes against them. They have only one thing to do with, and that's smearing Donald Trump. They have tried to create a narrative that Trump had something to do with Epstein, and all we now know is that a lot of Democrats had something to do with Epstein, whether it was Summers or Obama's lawyer, who was Epstein's great defender, apparently, or on and on and on and on. But what you're seeing here is the creation of a.
Are they? I understand what you're saying, that they're trying to do it to stick it to Trump. But I mean, they're releasing pictures of Bill Clinton and Larry Summers and Democrats too. I think you could make that argument maybe more if it was just pictures of Donald Trump, right?
Well, look, those guys are already roadkill. I mean, I hate to tell you, but we already know about that. But they continue to stick things about Donald Trump in the middle of these other people for one reason only. There's not a single shred of evidence or any credible allegation that Trump did anything wrong at all or had anything to do with this, period. And by the way, he did sign the law they're going to release the documents on. So the idea that he doesn't want to release it, he signed it into law, and I assume they're going to release it as soon as they can.
So that, of course, is the main point. If the Democrats had any real incriminating evidence about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, it would have been released. Not now, not weeks ago, not months ago, but back during the campaign. And even CNN had to admit, right? Kaitlan Collins is over there saying, go to CNN.com. We have all the images. Well, if you look at this article that references these images, none of the released images depict any misconduct, nor are believed to depict any underage girls. It was not immediately clear when or where they were taken or by whom. All right. So in other words, this is all a bunch of garbage. And even Van Jones admits, yeah, these are frivolous photos, right? Over here, you have a picture of Jeffrey Epstein and Steve Bannon talking. So does that incriminate Steve Bannon in anything? Of course it doesn't. But this is what the Democrats are after. Okay. They're just trying to play this psyop. Look at this connection between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. But thank goodness the internet lives on forever, because now every single person in the entire world can see the lies that are being spread. And as Scott Jennings points out, it's all being done in an attempt to smear Donald Trump. Cherry-picked photos, edited photos, cherry-picked documents, edited documents. Do you see the pattern here? But of course, that's what makes this whole thing so infuriating to me personally, because I think Donald Trump should have released all of this information months ago. All he did is give cannon fodder to the Democrats. All he did was create an opportunity for the Democrats to drive a wedge between him and his supporters. Okay, so this did nothing good to serve Donald Trump, but he will be vindicated in the end, because a bunch of photos have been released of people with Epstein who have no charges against them, no interaction between them and Epstein outside of business, professional, whatever. And the main takeaway in all this, of course, is that the Democrats were caught lying again. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description, where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.